The Isla Paradiso Bunch, episode 74. Hello, Carrots here, welcome. The travellers from episode 73 have gone home and emptied their inventories and refreshed themselves, and a new crew have come back to China to find the final piece of the tomb collection for China. The travellers are Craig, Diana, Jerry, Hayley, Jeannie, Josephine, Sam and Wendy. They're staying in the house near the three waterfalls again. Craig is the only one with a level 3 visa who's come back this time. The other young adults will be working hard to improve their visa scores, and the two little girls have come back to give them an opportunity to learn to fish, and so they can age another 12 days, so they will be significantly older than the plant sim boys when they go home, because I want to age the plant sim boys up to become children when we return from this trip. And if I'd left the little girls at home and aged the boys up, there would have only been a day or two between them in age, and I want a bigger space than that. Craig is running to the adventure board so that he can have the first go at looking for an adventure, and then the rest of the household, apart from the two little girls, will then come and also get their adventures. I just want to make sure Craig gets the big adventure. Hopefully it'll come up first. And it did. A curious note. I have discovered a most interesting note in my home that contains information about ancient treasures and relics. I seek help in uncovering this treasure. Interested parties should seek Deng Wang. Craig's got his adventure, but now he's got to wait for the rest of them to get their adventures before he can start his. The next one to turn up to check the adventure board is Diana, and Diana's adventure is The Fish of the Scholar. The Shang Simla's Scholar's Garden lacks enough koi fish to truly rival the great gardens of the capital city. Please catch 2 Achiba koi and deliver them to the caretaker, Biu Shen. A reward of simoleons and ancient coins will be paid. Now I've sent Diana off to the little pond that's next to the abandoned barn, and I sent the two little girls to join her. Josephine got the same adventure, except she needed to catch 5 Kawa Imono koi and give them to Abby Yat Sen. Josephine went to Dragon Springs to catch her fish. Hayley was the next to look for an adventure, and she got the same adventure again. This time she had to catch 4 Daihatsu koi and deliver them to Gao Pai. So I sent her to the abandoned barn as well. So there was Hayley with her 2 little girls and Diana all fishing at the pond next to the abandoned barn. And if you missed some of the earlier episodes when the girls were born, Hayley is the mother of the 2 little girls, and their father is the mermaid Salty Seaworth. It looks like Hayley is the only one in the group who isn't gaining skill while she's fishing. She does need to catch extra fish for her visa points, but she's not gaining fishing skill. The other 3 are all gaining skill. You can see that by the blue bars above their heads. I'll leave them there doing that, and we'll go on with the adventures being awarded. Jeannie was the next to check for an adventure, and she got the same one. Catch the fish of the scholar, and she had to go and catch 3 Daihatsu koi and deliver them to Lu Ji. I thought the little fishing hole at the abandoned barn was getting a bit crowded, so I found some Daihatsu koi at the hot springs, and Jeannie went there to try to catch her 3 Daihatsu koi. By the time Sam went to look for an adventure, there were none left on the board, so I sent him to join Jeannie at the hot springs. I thought he could just do some fishing, but it looks like he doesn't need to do any fishing. He's not learning anything, and he won't get any visa points if he catches anything, because he hasn't got an adventure, but he can stay there for the moment. Sent Craig to the market to meet Den Wang, and then I sent all the others off to go fishing in their various fishing spots. And of course when I got back to Craig, he was swimming, so I told him to report in to Den Wang, which is what he's got to do. He got on his bike. I thought Den Wang was at the market, and he might have been when I sent Craig there, but he's not there now. So Craig has headed off in search of Den Wang. He's got to report in for his adventure of the curious note. I have discovered a most interesting note in my home that contains information about ancient treasures and relics. I seek help in uncovering this treasure. Interested parties should seek Den Wang, and that's what Craig is doing. He's seeking Den Wang. This is the start of the big adventure to get the final big tomb that they haven't done yet. That must be Den Wang. And of course he's got another little adventure to do. The concern of the illegible handwriting. It is most fortunate that there are fellow treasure seekers in Shang Simla. Let me introduce myself. I am Deng Wang. Shall we find the treasure? Centuries ago, the evil warlord Dong Ho stole a priceless heirloom from my ancestors. I believe this note says where the relic is, but I cannot fully decipher it. Perhaps you could convince Bailui, a merchant, to do so. Craig sets off to ask Bailui to decipher it. Now, the last episode, Craig and Bailui spent quite a lot of time together, so I assumed that they would know each other, but apparently not. So Craig first had to chat with Bailui for several minutes before Bailui would respond to his request to decipher the note. Their relationship stayed minimum for such a long time, it just didn't seem to want to move. But it did eventually, thank goodness. Much later, Bailui tried to escape into his house, but Craig chased after him, and eventually the relationship got up high enough for Craig to ask the question. And he got a response. Deep within the Forbidden City. Yes. I can see why you failed to decipher this note. It is written in the ancient code of Dong Ho's army, known only to his lieutenants, and, of course, myself. I have deciphered the note explaining the location of Dong Ho's treasure. You will need to first find the key, which is at a location I'll detail to you on your map. That key should unlock the chambers holding the treasure. Good luck with finding the key. Now, this tomb under the market has been completed numerous times by various members of the crew over the period that they have been visiting China, but this time it's part of an adventure. And Craig is going to collect as much treasure as he can as he goes through it. The first treasure chest had a brown vase in it, and then he managed to get a pile of ancient coins. There's no hidden doors left to discover. He's just got to work his way through from the left-hand side of the screen. He's got to go all the way through to the right-hand side of the screen. You can see that treasure chest there with the sparkles coming up out of it. That's where he's headed for. All of the floor traps have been disarmed. It's a non-event this time through because it's all done. He's just got to go and pick up the key out of that treasure chest. He got a collection of relics and money bags and ancient coins on his way through, and a few jewels, and now he's got the key in his inventory. He can go and pick up Dong Ho's treasure. But no, he's got to deliver the keystone. He jumps back on his bike and heads back to Bailui's place. When Craig finally arrives there, Bailui is waiting for him outside his house near his letterbox, as usual. And Craig gives him the news, and Bailui is delighted, and he says there's one more task he's got for Craig at this point, haggling the final details. Progress. The treasure cannot be too far behind if this clue is any indication. I have good news. And bad news. The good news is that the trove is in Shang Simla. However, it is on a property owned by a local merchant. If you can convince Xing Hong to work with us, we can finally find the treasure. So Craig now has to go up and ask Xing Hong to allow them entrance to the tomb containing the treasure. Of course, Xing Hong doesn't know Craig at all, so he won't tell him anything until he gets to know Craig better. So Craig has to start having conversations. Catches him on the bridge. I thought they might move off the bridge. I hope no other Sims come along and want to cross it. There's no room there to cross at the moment. Takes Craig a while to get to know this Sim enough for him to be able to get the information or to get the permission that he needs, but he does eventually get it, of course. Once he got permission, Craig lost no time in jumping into the pool to have a swim. I'd been having thoughts of getting Craig to buy some books. I think they've already got them back at home, and I'd get him to buy them again anyway. And that Sim that he's just befriended is the book merchant. So Craig went into his bookshop and bought some books to take home. But Craig was on a mission and there was no time to dilly-dally, so he jumped on his bike and headed back to report in. Craig soon arrived at Bailui's place and reported in to get the next part of his adventure. Bay Louie seems to have replaced the original sim that started this adventure chain, and he seems to now have taken over, although the person that Craig has to report into at the end of this adventure is now blank. So it's a bit of a worry. I'm worried that I don't know what's going on. Anyway, this is what Bay Louie wants him to do. Stealing the warrior's gold. Good work. Well, are you ready, Craig? It is time for you to return the treasure stolen from my ancestors by the cursed Deng Ho. Take this key, enter the treasure trove, and return the relic to me. You will be well compensated for all you have done for me and my family. It was very late when Craig finally went home. Back at their house, each member of the household had been sleeping or was sleeping. Diana and Sam were having a conversation after they woke up. Next morning, everybody ate their breakfasts at different times. Here we see 3 of them, Diana, Hayley and Craig. Some of them have got fish in their inventories to be delivered. Others have more fish still to catch to achieve their opportunities that they had got to be able to get their visa points that they're after. Sam doesn't have an opportunity, but he's going to help Craig find Deng Ho's treasure and to make sure they come out of there with the part of the tomb collection that they're after. I'm not sure if the opportunity or the adventure will be able to be completed in this game because we don't have the name of the sim that Craig has to report to in the last part of the adventure chain that he was given by Louie. However, we won't worry too much about that so long as he finds the piece of the tomb collection that he's looking for. This is the final one. He's got the key to get in. He can get in, so we will do everything we are expected to do to complete the opportunity, but it may not be awarded, but I'm not going to worry about whether it is awarded or not. He will get the piece of the tomb collection, and that's all that matters for the purposes of this story. Diana was the first one out of the house. She had her fish and she needed to report in to get her visa points. Craig doesn't have to worry about visa points, he's already at level 3, but all of the others are either at level 0 or level 1. I think one or 2 might be at level 2, I'm not sure. But definitely Craig is the only one that doesn't need to worry about his visa points. All he's here to do is find that piece of the tomb collection that I want so badly. Diana's having quite a long run this morning. Here she is, ready to report in. Diana got 30 visa points when she handed in her fish. I sent everybody home so they'd be safely at home in the house, not wandering around getting overheated and dying from exposure. And Craig and Sam have gone to the market, where Craig is going to stand on that floor switch. It's being carefully guarded by one of the Sims from the town. Here's Craig now. And Sam's arrived as well. I don't think I've had these two together doing a tomb before, so I thought it'd make an interesting change. Muriel has stayed at home because she's a level 3 with visa points in China as well, and so is Judy, so I left those two at home this time and brought some that don't have such high visa points to try to work on their visa points. So Craig's gone downstairs. Sam can go down the steps as well when he's finished the school cheer. Then we'll see what Craig has found when he got downstairs. I think the first thing he's going to do is look for a hidden door. After much persuasion, Sam finally gets his act into gear and heads off down the stairs into the tomb, where he finds Craig has discovered a spot that looks like it might have a hidden door in it. And there's Craig searching. The giveaway was the blue wall in that area and the floor mat that he's standing on. I find floor mats usually indicate there's a hidden door in that particular spot. They can be in other spots as well, but they often have a floor mat in front of them. Oh, he's found the door. What's he going to find inside that room? Looks like there's some treasure. A money bag and either a copper or a gold bar. That might help Diana if it's a copper bar, because she needs to hand in lots of smelted copper for her new adventure. Now Craig's found a notice on the wall which is red, and it says, "The floor below holds my most prized treasures. It is a fortress that only the boldest of adventurers will be able to gain entry to and overcome. Signed, Deng Ho." Oh, and Sam has found another pile of ancient coins. They'll head off downstairs. Must be through that door. Interesting. Looks like it's a line of terracotta warriors. Craig seems a bit stunned. He's delayed his entry into the hall, but Sam's just going to get past them as fast as possible. Come on, Craig, you might as well come down here as well. It's a huge room. It's got more statues in it. Have a bit of a look around. That's where they just came from. There they are, looking into this big room, and it's got a keyhole. Craig stood there, his gaze transfixed on that blinking keyhole. Eventually, he found he really just had to move towards it and insert his key. The ominous music played, and two hidden doors swung open. They both led to the same place, a small, narrow room with a set of stairs leading down. There were lots of statues in the room that they were in, but they were behind cases. Nothing for it. Craig is going to have to go into that dreaded room and go down that dreadful staircase. What is he going to find when he gets down there? And will Sam come with him? Sam might decide to stay up top where it's safe. That note that they read way back at the beginning said something about lots of traps. And Craig is just too tired right now to even think about it. Here comes Sam, so at least it's going to be the two of them. They can share the burden between them. Looks like that could be another hidden door there with a mat against the wall. Oh no, it's another notice on the wall. I wonder what it says. Guess Craig had better go and read it. Fool! You are no warrior. You will not be able to overcome my traps. I shall look forward to meeting your ghosts. Ooh, that doesn't sound very pleasant, does it? I guess it's another note from the famous Dung Ho, who Craig's already defeated in the previous episode. As soon as Craig finishes reading the note on the wall, he notices a suspicious arrangement of non-pushable statues and investigates the floor to discover his first trap for this tomb. I wonder what this is going to do to him. He's going to have to disarm it if he's going to get any further. Meanwhile, Sam there is warming up for his martial arts in case he gets attacked by a mummy or something even worse like Dung Ho, because Sam doesn't know that Craig's already dealt with Dung Ho. Craig's really too tired to be dealing with traps or anything at this moment. Lucky he's got Sam with him to stand over and protect him, because I doubt that he'd be able to fight off a mummy at this point. Let's hope he can get the trap disarmed. No luck, he's just too tired. Try crossing it, Craig. Attempt to cross. See if that works. Steam trap, and he made it across safely. So that's disarmed that one. Now we can go through that door and he's into the tomb. More traps to disarm. There is absolutely no way that Craig is going to attempt to disarm any more traps until he's had a sleep. Fortunately, he's got his swag with him. Sam's not tired and he can come in now and disarm those two traps. And he has a good laugh at Craig lying in his swag having a snore. Craig can stay there while Sam works his way through the tomb. He's got quite a lot of traps to disarm. I think Craig must have known this as he was getting tired and decided he just wasn't going any further. Let Sam do a bit of the work for a change. After all, Craig's just completed the Dragon Cave where he defeated Dung Ho. Now they're after Dung Ho's treasure. And the big news is that this is the final tomb that they're going to do in China. Congratulations, Sam, you got that one. Now you've got to do the one beside it. We don't want anybody accidentally walking into a trap. We've had a little celebration of finishing that one. Sam just got an adventure, the Fish of the Scholar. He's got to go fishing just like the others did. He needs to work on his visa points, and he's not going to get any visa points out of doing this tomb with Craig, because Craig will get all of the points for this tomb. And since he's already at level 3 in his visa, he will get simoleons instead. So he'll get simoleons for completing the tomb, plus simoleons instead of visa points, because he would have got visa points for completing the tomb as well if he needed any, but he doesn't need any. Yes, there is a piece of the tomb collection in this tomb, and they're going to pick it up, and it will be the final piece of the tomb collection for China, which will leave only France to do, because they've already got the final piece of the tomb collection for Egypt. Muriel got that one. There's only 2 pieces to go in France. That's it, you've got the second one. Sam, congratulations. What they're doing is they're looking for 4 crescent keystones. And once they've found each of those keystones, they'll be able to get into the next part of the tomb. But they can't get there without the crescent keystones, all 4 of them. And walk down that hallway to the end, turn right, and walk all the way to the end, Turn right. Oh, he's eating some food. He must have been hungry. He's got dried food in his inventory so he can eat it whenever he wants to. So there's a floor switch to stand on, Sam, and it will let him into this room, because if he'd gone through the door, there's a trap in the way and he couldn't get past it. So I don't even bother using that door anymore. I can use the back door. So there we are. And there's a toilet just to his right, which we can't see. It's behind that screen, and he'll use that to disarm the trap, I think. There's a crescent keystone just there on that side table. So you can collect that crescent keystone. That's the first one we've got. Now go and use the toilet. I just forget now if this toilet actually does anything or not, but we'll use it anyway just in case. And there's beds there for Sam to sleep on later on when he gets tired. Because he will, though he broke the toilet. I think you've got to unclog it, haven't you? Yes. He's got the steel bladder lifetime reward, so he doesn't need to use the toilet, but I make them use the toilet whenever they find one, just in case, because toilets often trigger things. There's a trap there, see, that they couldn't get past. Got disarmed when he stood on that pressure plate. Going to collect something off that other bedside table. And now he can come out and disarm another trap that's just outside in this other hallway on the grey tiles towards the bottom of left of the screen there, because there's some ancient coins that he needs to collect. But there's a trap just there. He's just got to disarm it. Got to find it first. Did he disarm that? I think he did. No. I found it. Now he's got to disarm it. That looks like he disarmed that, doesn't he? So you can cross it now. Go and get that coins. Oh no! He attempted to cross and he got caught by it. Oh my goodness. Let's hope he's got some shower in a can in his pocket, or we won't be going any further with Sam. And Sam looks like a very sad little sim. All singed, with his hair standing on end and a crown all around his charred face and body. Fortunately, he does have shower in a can. Look at that. We could be able to continue on. We got our old Sam back again. Now he'd better disarm that trap properly. Fortunately, he was able to disarm the trap quite easily the second time around. I'm just surprised that he was prepared to try. So if they end up with a fear moodlet, they won't do much at all. And I didn't notice if he had it or not. Obviously not. But he's disarmed that trap. Now he can move on to the next room, or possibly the next trap. There's a door just around the corner from where he is. Go in that door and see what he can find. Lots of nectar scattered around on the floor. We can collect all of that. It's treasure. And I think there's more that he's got to do in this room than just collect a few bottles of nectar. He needs to find another crescent keystone. That looks very much like a hidden door in that wall. So Sam can go and search for a hidden door. Inspect the wall. He certainly is behaving as though he expects there to be a hidden door there. That's it. He's found it. And it's opening. It's open. And look, there is a dive well and lots more nectar. He's certainly going to be able to add to their nectar supply when he gets back home. It's everywhere in this room. I noticed that the nectar racks on the wall that he's facing at the moment, he can only taste the nectar in those nectar racks, so I left them alone. But the nectar racks that are on the other wall that's behind the dive well, he can take all of that nectar. So I got him out there to take it all. I never let them taste the nectar because they just get too distracted. But when it's take all nectar, I will let them take it all. There it is. He's got that lot. There's another one on his left. There they are. And get some more nectar out of that one. Then he can search the dive well and see if he can find a crescent keystone, because there's no other place that I can see that there could be a crescent keystone. There's nothing actually on the bar. There's a bar here in the corner. It's a bit hard to see it. The room's a bit too small. That's the door he came through. I wonder what sort of a dive he's going to do into the dive well. Straight in head first. All the bubbles on top of the dive well while he's down there searching. He did search around and he did find a crescent keystone. So that was worth a dive. That's 2 keystones found and 2 still to find. Plus lots and lots of more traps to negotiate. So he's got to come down the hallway now, and he's come across a wall trap which he needs to disarm if he wants to go any further. And there's another one on the other wall, so he'll have to disarm it as well, or somebody is going to walk past too close and get full of darts or something. The traps in this tomb are all sorts of traps. The steam, electricity, fire and dart traps everywhere. He's got that one. Now he's got to go across the hall to the other one. There's one more trap for Sam to do right now. I think he's getting very sleepy as well. I hope Craig wakes up soon. I'm going to have to put Sam to bed shortly. At least he's got a bed to sleep in. Craig was too tired to go to the bed. He just lay on the floor in his swag. Another trap disarmed. Now, can he come and check out this hole in the floor, or is it going to be too much for him? He's going to give it a go. I'm not sure what that hole in the floor does. It's given him a lot of bugs. Did something. I heard a switch. I don't know what happened. Go in that door, Sam, and let's have a look what's in there. There's lots of treasure, but you can't get at it. It's across the other side. There's that room there, but looks like there's a door, but he can't search for it, so it's just one of those spots that are blocked off. There's got to be a way to get across to the other side. Obviously not from the room where he's standing, so he's better come out. There's another hallway there that he can go down. There's a red pushable statue inspecting the floor for a trap. Look at all those traps down the end. Fire and electricity. That's what he needs the 4 crescent keystones for. You see where you put them in those 4 keyholes? He needs 4 of them. He's got to put 1 in each keyhole. Oh well, there's an interesting trap. Can you disarm that, Sam? These traps take a long time to disarm. Is that disarmed? I think so. Let's see if you can push that statue. That red one. Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot more traps up ahead. That darts. There you go. That's a dart trap that he's just disarmed by pushing a statue onto it. I think Craig's awake. That's a risky move, pulling that statue towards you. Don't step back too far. You'll get started to death. That's a good move. You push it. Yeah, see, that was darts going up there. He's managed to stop that one as well. Investigate a hole in the wall. That's probably got a switch in it to disarm more traps. Bugs. There you go, there's another trap done. It's time for Craig to take over from Sam. And it's also time for the video to end because there's too much still to do to fit it all into this one video. So I'll put episode 75 up as quickly as I can. So I hope you've enjoyed it so far. Thank you for watching, and I will get episode 75 up so you can see what happens next. Bye bye for now, and happy simming. And don't forget, subscribe if you need to, and give it a like if you think it's worth a like.